the Narok County government for the supply and delivery of earth-moving equipment, NCG OT 04 2022-2023, and NCG machine repair 001 2022-2023.
When you were taking the oath, you referred to yourself as Keturet Olentutu, and the documents before us are signed by Patrick K. Olentutu. Are those the same people?
That's right, sir. My name is Patrick Keturet Olentutu. That's why that K is there.
Okay, so you are also Patrick. You know, when you said Keturet Olentutu, swears to tell the truth.
Yes.
Not Patrick Olentutu.
Patrick Keturet Olentutu.
Okay, you ought to have indicated your full names, because you might tell a story as Patrick and tell another story as Keturet. Okay. But now that you have clarified that yes, Patrick and Keturet are one and the same,
yes,
we do not expect two versions of the truth.
I normally prefer the Keturet because that was the name that my mother gave me, but that's okay. It's Patrick Keturet Olentutu.
We'll go with the names on the ID. I know many people are embarrassed by their names on the ID, but more particularly the photos on their IDs. So do not not disown your official name.
Governor, who gave you the name Patrick? You have told us the one who gave you Keturet.
Yeah, later on I was baptized as a Catholic, so they gave me that name.
Okay. Fine. We are here to consider the request of the County Executive of Narok, statement that was requested by Senator Ledama Olekina regarding two tenders for Narok County Government for supply and delivery of earth-moving equipment. Very quickly, Clerk, I will ask you to give us a chronology and then also read out the statement so that we can get the response of the Governor.
Thank you, Chairman. This matter came to the committee through a statement by the Senator of Narok, Senator Olekina Ledama, on the 9th of March 2023. The Senator sought a statement pursuant to Standing Order number 53-1 from the County Public Accounts Committee concerning two tenders for Narok County Government for the supply and delivery of earth-moving equipment, tender number NCG/OT/04/2022/2023, and tender number NCG/machine/repair/001/2020-2023. In the statement, the committee was requested to consider the following matters. Number one, the procurement process which the county government of Narok took in awarding the two tenders amount to Kenya shillings 1.6 billion. Number two, the extent to which the county government complied with the requirements set out in the Public Procurement and Assets Disposal Act in the two tenders. Number three, provide information, if any, of complaints made by a number of bidders in relation to the tenders to the Public Procurement Regulatory Authority and action taken thereon. Mr. Chairman, the committee therefore, via a letter dated 8th May 2023, wrote to the Governor of Narok. The letter is referenced SEN/DGAC/Cpac/2023/057, addressed to the Governor of Narok, Honorable Patrick Olentutu. The statement reads, Standing Order 53-1 provides that a senator may request for a statement from a committee on any matter under the mandate of the committee. Pursuant to these provisions, at its sitting held on Thursday, 9th March 2023, Senator Ledama Olekina requested for a statement from the County Public Accounts Committee regarding two tenders for Narok County Government for the supply and delivery of earth-moving equipment, tender number NCG/OT/2022-23, and tender number NCG/machine/repair/01/2022-2023. In the statement, the senator requested the committee to do the following. Number one, explain the procurement process which the county government of Narok took in the awarding of the two tenders. Number two, explain the extent to which the county government complied with the requirements set out in the Public Procurement and Assets Disposal Act. Number three, provide information, if any, of complaints made by a number of bidders in relation to the tenders to the Public Procurement Regulatory Authority and action taken thereon. Further, the committee requests you to provide certified copies of the procurement documents listed below. A, extract of the approved budget for the procurement. B, approved procurement plan for the financial year 2022-2023. C, approved user requisition. D, tender invitation notice. E, blank tender document issued to bidders. F, copies of addenda issued. G, minutes of the pre-bid conference. H, tender opening minutes and tender opening register. I, recommendation letters by heads of departments nominating their representatives for appointment to the relevant committee where the heads of departments are represented. J, appointment letters sent by the accounting officer to the evaluation committee. K, individual score sheets. L, tender evaluation report. M, professional opinion. N, notification of intention to award to all bidders. O, contract agreement if any. And P, a report on the termination of procurement proceedings for tender number NCG/OT/2022-2023. In order to assist the chairperson to respond to the issues raised above, this is to request your office to provide a comprehensive response to the committee on or before Wednesday, 17th May 2023. Chairman, after that letter, we got another letter from the governor dated 17th May 2023, referenced CGN/CS/SNE/RES Volume 3 in bracket 1, where the governor states as follows. I make reference to the subject matter of your letter dated 8th May 2023, requesting submission of a written response to the issues raised therein regarding the above-mentioned tender. I wish to inform you that the letter was received on 14th May 2023 while I was away on official duty, and we are still in the process of preparing a response as directed. In this regard, I request that for an extension of time to enable us prepare a substantive response to obtain relevant annexures thereon. We then wrote to the governor on 20th March this year, 2024, requesting the governor to appear before this committee on 2nd May 2024 at 10 a.m. The agenda of the meeting will be to consider the responses in our letter dated 8th May 2023. And that is why we are here today, Mr. Chairman. That's all.
Thank you, Clerk. So that lays out the chronology of events. This statement was requested on the 9th of April 2023. That is almost 1 year down the line. And it's taken long for us to get to this point. That is why we felt it was important for us to lay the records and the supporting documentation so that we can consider this matter. Now that the clerk has read out the statement that was requested, I will now ask the governor to respond to the statement that was requested by the senator for Narok. And you will respond, I think for neatness, restrict yourself to the written responses that has been laid before the Senate. Governor, you may proceed. Before you start, allow me to allow the Vice Chair and Senator Gataya to go on record.
Thank you, Chair. Good morning, everybody. Chararge Kiprotich is my name, Senator from the great people of Nandi and the Vice Chairperson of this committee. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Chair. This is Senator Mwenda Gataya, Mofaya.
You may proceed to read your response.
Thank you very much, Chair and Honorable Senators, and thank you for giving us the opportunity to come and answer the question that has been raised by the Honorable Senator for Narok. And I want to take this opportunity. We have organized ourselves in such a way that we will answer all the questions on the issues of procurement and the process followed, and also regarding the two tenders. So I'll give my county secretary to take us through the written submission. County secretary, through the chair.
Honorable Chair, I wish to read the response by the Narok County government on the queries that were raised by the statement. I am referring to our response headed request for response to a statement regarding two tenders, NCG 0204 2022-2023 and NCG machine repair 001 2022-2023 for the supply and delivery of earth-moving equipment by the Narok County government. And I wish to proceed and read the response. Reference is made to your letter, reference EN DGSC Cpac 2024/044, dated the 20th of March 2024, requesting.
In the interest of time, can they go direct to the response instead of going through?
Yeah, Chair, also on a point of order, why is the witness adding information that is not written here? Can he stick to what they have submitted? This other is just, but just to the point, he added some words from the beginning. So can he stick to what he has tabled?
Restrict yourself to the statement, to your response before us.
Greetings can only be given in a church gathering, not here.
Okay.
I stand guided, Chair. Number one, in your letter, you asked the county to explain the procurement process which the county government of Narok took in awarding the two tenders amounting to Kenya shillings 1.6 billion. Number two, you also asked the county to explain the extent to which the county government complied with the requirements set out in the Public Procurement and Assets Disposal Act in the two tenders. Number three, additionally, you asked us to provide information, if any, of complaints made by a number of bidders in relation to the tenders to Public Procurement Regulatory Authority and the action taken thereon. Find the response as follows. Number one, NCG machine repair 001 2022-2023. That is a tender for the repair of earth-moving equipment by the Narok County government. The method used was open tender, pursuant to section. Chair, I will wish to kindly, Honorable Chair, I wish to seek your indulgence on an error that is on the response. It is section 96, not 92.
Okay, so that is amended appropriately. 96.
96.
Proceed.
Section 96 of the Public Procurement and Asset Disposal Act 2015, and as allowed under the Roads, Transport and Public Works Department and the User Department requested for the service as per the requirements. The evidence is annexed as Appendix 20. In developing the specifications, the department sought the services of the national government's Mechanical and Transport Division to develop specifications to aid the tendering process. They will also provide technical support in evaluations and inspections. They also assisted in assessment of the equipment before and after the repairs. They were also involved in the opening and evaluation of bids received, and Appendix 13 and 10. A tender advert notice was placed in the Daily Nation on Thursday, 10th November 2022, with the blank tender documents uploaded to Government Tender Portal and the county's website in strict compliance with Section 69 of the Public Procurement and Asset Disposals Act 2015. The appointment of tender opening committee and evaluation committees pursuant to Section 78 of the Public Procurement and Asset Disposal Act 2015 were done on the 11th of November 2022. The tender opening was done on the 18th of November 2022, and the evidence is attached as Appendix 17 and 18. Evaluations were conducted pursuant to Section 80 of the Public Procurement and Asset Disposal Act 2015, and a report issued thereafter. The head of Supply Chain Management issued a professional opinion that was approved by the accounting officer. It is attached as Appendix 13. Notifications of intention to award were issued to convey the outcome of the evaluation exercise to bidders who applied, indicating the start of the 14-day standstill period, and is attached as Appendix 8. For this tender, there was no complaint received by the county to that effect. After the conclusion of the standstill period, a negotiation exercise was held on the 15th of December 2022. Minutes are attached as Appendix 7. Thereafter, a letter of award was issued, attached as Appendix 5, and the contract was signed on the same day, and the contract is attached as Appendix 4. Secondly, Chair, NCG OT/04/2022/2023 tender for supply and delivery of earth-moving equipment. The method used was open tender pursuant to Section 92 of the Public Procurement and Asset Disposal Act 2015.
So there you are referring to 92?
96. Still.
So you wish to amend?
Same error, kindly.
Yeah, you need to go on record that you are seeking to amend.
Chair, with your indulgence, I seek to make a correction on that small error. It is supposed to be Section 96.
Yeah, it is not small. It's significant. But just proceed.
The method used was open tender pursuant to Section 96 of the Public Procurement and Asset Disposal Act 2015 and as allowed under the regulations. The procurement was budgeted for under the Department of Roads, Transport and Public Works Department, and the user department requested for the service as per the requirements, and the request is attached as Appendix 20, 22 and 23. In developing the specifications, the department sought the services of the national government's Mechanical and Transport Division to develop specifications to aid in the tendering process. They will also provide technical support in evaluations and inspections, specifically pre-delivery inspections, the PDI. They were also involved in the opening and evaluation bids received. Evidence attached as Appendix 20. A tender advert notice was placed in the Daily Nation on Thursday, 22nd December 2022, with the blank tender documents uploaded to the government tender portal and the county's website in strict compliance with Section 69 of the Public Procurement and Asset Disposal Act 2015, and it's attached as Appendix 19. The appointment of the tender committee and tender opening committee and evaluations committees in strict compliance with Section 78 of the Public Procurement and Asset Disposal Act 2015 were done on the 3rd of May, that day of January 2023. The tender opening was done on the 5th of January 2023 and is attached as Appendix 13. Evaluations were conducted pursuant to Section 80 of the Public Procurement and Asset Disposal Act 2015 and a report issued thereafter. The head of supply chain management issued a professional opinion that was approved by the accounting officer and is attached, they attached as Appendix 10 and 11. Notifications of intention to award were issued to convey the outcome of the evaluation exercise to the bidders who applied, indicating that.
Point of order, Chair.
Senator Cherokee?
When I look at Appendix 19, it is an appointment to ad hoc committee, but in your statement you are saying it was a blank tender documents uploaded to government tender portal and county's website. It is Appendix 19. Or I'm having the wrong document. It is written 19.
Do we have guidance? I have two files, and each of them seems to have an Appendix 19. So which Appendix 19 should we be referring to?
Chair, there are two tenders, one for TSSL and the other one for farm engineering.
So where are you now?
We are referring to the one for farm engineering. If you just check, it is indicated.
The one with, is this pink or orange?
The one with pink.
This one. Not this one.
Okay, the one with pink?
If you check on the margin of the file, the company name is indicated.
What is it written? Farm engineering?
Yes.
But it's the wrong document because it says appointment to ad hoc opening committee. But in your statement are you trying to mislead the committee?
It's Appendix 10.
But it's the wrong thing.
Okay, what
Through
we
the
can
chair.
do, we can allow him to conclude because I think he has just a few paragraphs. Then we now come back to our queries.
But Chair, it will alter the whole answer because it's wrong referral vis-a-vis what he say.
Let's just allow them to finish. Then we come back.
But he must indicate that he's not trying to mislead the committee.
Okay.
Or trying to be smart.
Okay, proceed.
Thank you, Chair. During the standstill period, two firms, specifically Biomax Africa Limited of PO Box 91131 Mombasa and Stratogen Limited of PO Box 95512 Mombasa, requested for debriefing for the tender for the supply and delivery of earth-moving equipment. The debriefing was done to that effect, and the evidence is attached as Appendix 7 and 8. Public Procurement Regulatory Authority sought for further clarification on the substance of the tender, of which all the relevant documents were presented to them. After verification of documents and the procurement process, green light was given to proceed with the tendering process and award the tender to the successful bidder. Chair, another correction, with your indulgence, it's written Appendix 5, but it's supposed to be Appendix 2.
Appendix?
2. May I?
Okay, you may proceed.
After the conclusion of the assessment of the procurement process by the Public Procurement Regulatory Authority, PPRA, a letter of award was issued on 1st March 2023. It is attached as Appendix 5. The acceptance letter was received on 2nd March 2023 and is attached as Appendix 4. And contract agreement also signed on the 2nd of March 2023 is attached as Appendix 3. The county government complied with the requirements set out in the Public Procurement and Assets Disposal Act 2015 in the award of the two tenders, evidenced by the assessment done by the Public
Chair.
Procurement and Regulatory
Senator Cherargei?
So in Appendix 7, it is a middle of a document of another appendix. So what is happening? Because I can see Appendix 7 is at page 7 of another document. Chair, I think these people are not ready. Or somebody, apart from the typing errors.
What is the header of your Appendix 7, Senator Cherargei?
It is page 7. It is through number 36, 37, 38, 39. It is in the middle of another document.
Senators, what is Senator?
I think they imagine that senators are lazy and they would not go to appendixes.
Senator Sifuna, what are you seeing on Appendix 7?
Is it the farm engineering?
Yeah, I'm the one to get
Engineering file?
No,
Chair.
but this appendix is here.
No, it's Miss.
We have two files.
But I'm on the same file, but they are put in the another.
Allow us to go to the page that you are talking about.
This is page 7.
Appendix 7.
Appendix 7 is inside
Is a letter by PPRA.
No. This one is in the middle of another appendix.
What is the document, what is the header of the document that it's in the middle of?
Complaints against tender for proposed supply and delivery of earth-moving
I think your file might have a problem because
Honorable Chair,
Just a
with your
minute.
indulgence, if we can replace the Honorable
minute.
Senator's chair.
Order. Yeah. Senator Cherargei?
Yes, I think it's in the middle of another document.
for me, Appendix 7, Chair, is a letter from the PPRA.
Chair,
Reference complaints against tender.
Complaints against tender for proposed supply.
Yes.
And that is what you're seeing, Senator Mofaya? Senator Dulo? So I think we need to make sure that whatever Senator Cherargei is viewing is consistent with what
so that we are on the same page.
Yes.
And maybe, Chair, out of curiosity, who did this job from the county? It looks like from typing error, and we know the cost of typing error, to typing error in terms of appendix number 2 to refer number 5. You know,
Okay, so can you first give Senator Cherargei a proper file?
Yes.
Check that.
Okay,
Okay.
fine. And then we allow them to finish, and then we come
Was
back
this
to the
file given
interrogation.
to me to intentionally mislead me, Chair?
That is why we put the governor on oath.
Yes.
Okay, County
It
Secretary,
is a serious
proceed.
matter. He should not get off easily.
Proceed, County Secretary.
Honorable Chair, as I proceed, apologies for that misrepresentation.
Please proceed and restrict yourself to what is written.
The county government complied with the requirements set out in the Public Procurement and Asset Disposal Act 2015 in the award of the two tenders, evidenced by the assessment done by the Public Procurement Regulatory Authority, PPRA. Thank you.
Is that the end of your report? Governor, there were supplementary questions that were raised in our letter of clerk. Was it 17th May, 2023?
It was 8th May. 8th May.
Our letter of
8th
8th of May, 2023. Now, can you just read out those supplementary, because it was all the way up to P,
Yes, up to P.
so that the governor can confirm whether he has complied with that supplementary information request.
Yes, Chairman. A, extract of your approved budget for the procurement.
Governor, do we have that in any of the appendices?
Yes, in the file.
Which appendix?
Appendix. One minute.
Honorable Chair, the budget is on Appendix 25
Of which file?
for farm engineering.
For farm
Farm
engineering.
engineering,
Appendix 25.
5.
Yes.
25. For TSSL, it's Appendix 24. For farm, it's Appendix 25.
What was the next set of information required?
The second one, B, approved procurement plan for the financial year 23-24.
Has that been provided and referred to the appendix?
24.
Appendix 25.
Chair, on the farm engineering file, it's Appendix 23. And on the other file, on TSSL, it's Appendix 21.
Number 3.
Chair, just to be on the same page, Honorable Governor, the document at 25 is a supplementary budget. Is that the position? That's not what you said in your written response. You said it had been budgeted for. This was a supplementary budget.
Governor?
Yes. Yes, Senator. Yes, it is a supplementary budget.
So I'm sure you know where I'm going with this, doing all budget, so that we can see whether you complied with certain provisions on what should be in the supplementary budget and what should not.
We can provide.
Is it here?
Not on this one, but we have it.
Okay, members, let's first take an inventory, because we need to take an inventory of what they provided, whether it complies with what requested, and then we come to the substance.
Chair, can I on PO, if you look at this document, because it's part of inventory, it talks about submission of quality reports of all contract award. That is on this file called TSSL. Chair, I don't know whether the governor would want to proceed, because the person who photocopied, and I don't think they are poor photocopiers in Narok County, decided even with the greatest microscope, you cannot make out anything. So is it in order to strike out this document because you cannot read? This is in TSSL. This is page 1, and I presume annex 1 on this TSSL.
Does it address the inventory we are taking right now on the budget and,
Yeah, because it talks
and the approved procurement plan?
yes, because it talks about quarterly tenders on this one. Because it says quarterly reports on contract awards as per the audit, the question that was raised by Ledama, Senator Ledama. Because Chair, you cannot read.
Okay, what we do, Senator, Vice Chair, let's go through the inventory, and if that particular record relates to an inventory that we are reading, then we'll put the governor to task on it if it is not legible. So we are on, so on the budget, I think there is an observation that we cannot deal with supplementary in the absence of the original budget. We note that is information that must come. We are on now the approved procurement plan.
C is, yes, approved procurement plan for financial year 2022-2023. B.
And as the county secretary has pointed out where that is.
Chair, sorry for taking you back. It is PPRA report appendix 1. So it's part of the inventory. So it is not lying here idly, but it is not legible. It cannot be read. This is annex 1 on their inventory PPRA report.
Yes.
But it's not legible.
So let's take note of whether they've complied in terms of provision of documentation. Then we come back to the content of what is before us.
Yes.
Number 3, Clerk.
Number 3 is approved user requisition.
Where are those in the files before us?
Honorable Chair, in the farm engineering file, it's the requisition is appendix 24, and on the TSSL file it's appendix 22.
Okay, and appendix 24, and the other one it is
22.
I wish you'd have done a table of content for this other file, the way you have done for. Oh, it is there.
It is there.
Okay, fine. It comes after the governor's statement. Yeah, because that will make it easy for us to follow. So requisition is 24. And in the other one, requisition is 22.
22.
Okay.
22.
The fourth?
The fourth one is a tender invitation notice. Sorry, tender invitation notice.
Tender invitation notice, Governor.
Chair, in the farm engineering file, the tender notice is appendix 21. And in the TSSL file, the tender notice is appendix 19.
Okay. Clerk, the next.
The next one is blank tender document issued to bidders.
Governor.
On the TSSL, it is appendix 18. And in the farm engineering file, Chair, it's
On which file? 18 on which file?
in the TSSL file, it's 18.
So 18 on TSSL?
File, yes.
What is 18 all about?
Look at the file TSSL.
Yeah?
It is a blank bid document.
Yeah, that was a blank tender
Document.
document.
No, on 18, Chair, is different thing.
Starting.
For farm it is on which page?
It is withdrawal from tender for proposed supply and delivery of earth moving machine.
I think that's TSSL.
Yes, sir.
So for TSSL, where's a blank tender?
Number 8.
It's number 18, Chair.
But for farm engineering,
For farm engineering,
why would they bring two files?
It's not attached, but you can provide the document.
Okay.
It's not. It's not there.
And Governor, you note that we are not making a new request here.
Yes.
We are referring to a letter that was sent to you.
Yes.
And that's why it's important that you take an inventory that you've complied, then that will now help us to make a decision as a committee. So for farm engineering, we don't have the blank tender document.
Yes, Chair, it's not attached, but we are obliged to provide it.
Why is it not there?
So there we are marking as not responsive. The sixth.
The sixth one is copies of addenda issued.
Copies of addenda issued.
Honorable Chair, there was no addendum in this particular procurement process.
So it is your submission, there was no addendum issued here.
Yes.
Number 7.
7 minutes of pre-bid conference / meetings.
Refer us to that.
Honorable Chair, in the TSSL file, it is Appendix 13, the tender opening minutes. Okay. And on the farm engineering file, it's Appendix 16.
Sorry, on minutes of pre-bid conference, you've already addressed that?
Yes.
So it is, clerk, have you, sorry? Yeah, please repeat so that we are sure. Pre-bid conference meetings?
On the TSSL, it is captured as the tender opening minutes, which is 13. Appendix 13.
Appendix 13.
As
the
tender
TSSL.
opening minute.
Yes, on TSSL.
Number 13.
Yes.
And on farm engineering?
And on farm, it is Appendix 16.
So 16 on farm and and 13 on TSSL.
It's not well documented. It is there. It is here.
We were on minutes of pre-bid conference
Yes.
and not tender opening minutes. Those are different.
On which file? TSSL. On the pre-bidding, it's captured in TSSL as Appendix 17.
Yes.
And on farm,
It's not. It is not there. On the farm engineering file, the pre-bid documents are not attached, but again, we can provide the minutes.
TSSL is attached.
The TSSL one is 17.
But what about the farm? So 17.
so for pre-bid conference for farm engineering, not attached.
Not attached. But we can provide.
So that's a second document relating to farm engineering that is missing, the blank tender and minutes of the pre-bid conference. The next one was tender opening minutes.
The next one, tender opening minutes and tender opening register.
On the TSSL file, Chair, tender opening minutes is Appendix 13, and the tender opening register is Appendix 14.
On farm.
14.
And on the farm engineering file, the tender opening minute is Appendix 16, and the tender opening register is Appendix 17.
The next one, clerk.
The next one is recommendation letters by heads of departments nominating their representatives for appointment to the evaluation committee where the heads of departments are represented.
Governor.
15 for TSSL.
Honorable Chair, on the TSSL file, the nomination of members is at Appendix 16. And on the farm engineering file, it is Appendix 20.
That was recommendation of nomination of members to the evaluation committee. Number 10.
Number 10 is appointment letters signed by the accounting officer to the evaluation committee.
Governor.
Honorable Chair, on the TSSL file, the appointment of tender opening committees, the evaluation committee is Appendix 12.
And on farm.
And on the farm engineering file, it is Appendix 15.
Appendix 15.
15. 15.
Number 11, clerk.
Number 11 is individual score sheets.
Honorable Chair, in the farm engineering file, the individual score sheet is Appendix 14. That is the farm engineering file.
TSSL.
And on the TSSL, the individual report is Appendix 10.
11.
11. The individual score sheet is Appendix 11.
11 and 14. Clerk, number 12.
The next is a tender evaluation report.
The tender evaluation report in the TSS file is Appendix 10 in the TSSL file. And in the farm engineering file is Appendix 13.
Number 13.
Number 13 is professional opinion.
Honorable Chair, in the TSSL file, the professional opinion is Appendix 9, and in the farm engineering file, it's Appendix 12. 12. Pardon?
Is it in work section 96? As a last in section 96.
There was an error. It was indicated as section 92.
We on there? Professional opinion?
Yeah, professional opinion.
Okay. So you have it. You have the professional opinion for both.
Yes, Chair.
You just to repeat for farm, it is.
The professional opinion for farm engineering is Appendix 12.
And for TSSL?
And for TSSL is Appendix 9.
Clerk, number 14.
The next is notification of intention to award to all bidders.
Notification of intention to award.
The notification letters in the TSSL file are Appendix 8, and in the farm engineering is Appendix 11.
Number 15, Clerk.
The next one is contract agreement.
Referring to the letter that was addressed to Narok County Government.
Yes, Chairman.
Yeah, Governor, we are not making up anything here. We're just taking an inventory of what we had requested you to provide.
But do we have that document?
Well, Chair, we can consider that as, it's not here, but we can provide. So it's one of the.
But I'd like you to confirm that that request was in the letter that was addressed to Narok.
It was there, yes.
Yeah, because I don't want any perception
Absolutely.
Of malice that we are asking for fresh evidence.
Agree. I think there was just a mix-up.
So that was the last one. So that means that so far, what is lacking is the report on the termination of that tender. Secondly, it is the minutes of pre-bid conference for farm engineering. I want us to agree on what's missing. Yes. Or maybe we start from the top. So from the top, I think number one on budget, Senator Sifuna had raised an important issue of having the original alongside the supplementary. The other one that was missing was a blank tender document for farm engineering. The third one that was missing was pre-bid conference minutes for farm engineering. And then the other one that was missing is a termination, is a report on termination of the contract that has been highlighted. I hope we are in agreement on what is missing.
We are in agreement, Chair.
What was the difficulty of providing that information?
I think it's just a mix-up of the documentation, but we have those documents.
Within what duration would you furnish those documents to the Senate?
A week or even 4 days should be enough.
Let's
4 working days should be enough.
Okay,
it's just a matter of photocopying and bring it, because we have it.
So you, Governor, it is your request that we give you 4 working days to provide those records.
Correct.
Okay, fine. Let me allow Senator Methu to go on record.
Mr. Chairman and all the people in the room, my name is John Methu. I am a member of this committee.
You are welcome. Senator Umtata, apologies. I thought you were part of the delegation from Narok. Your face.
Okay, no problem. Your Excellency, my name is Okiya Umtata Koichi, Senator from Busia and a member of this committee. Welcome.
Now, to bring us back, we are now done with the inventory, and I want to make a comment. This committee and the senators in the current House have had challenges accessing information from county governments. And first of all, I'm glad that the county government of Narok has complied perhaps to the extent of 90% to the request by the senator for Narok. When Senator Umtata went to ask for information of a similar nature in Busia, instead of getting files, they sent goons to him. When Senator Cherargei asked for similar information in Nandi, instead of getting feedback, he got insults in funerals. So I think it must be put on record that a senator has a right to request through the relevant committee or even directly, because he's got a constitutional mandate for this information. So members, I think what we have before us is quite comprehensive, save for the 4 documents that are missing, which should be provided in the next 4 days.
Actually, Chair, you make a very important point, and I wanted to understand from the governor's perspective. Did it have to take this committee for you to produce these documents if your senator wanted to see them?
No, not at all. I don't think he has ever asked me and not provide him. I would have provided him anywhere, because this was a very, it was a process that we took, and it was very clean. We didn't have to, he didn't have to come to the Senate.
Yeah, but he has a right to use Senate committees. I think sometimes it's even neater when it is processed through Senate committees, because it removes perceptions of bias or perceptions of personal affront on the county executive. So what Senator Omtata was seeking was information relating to that procurement, so that he can review and take a view on behalf of the people of Narok that it was value for money, and we as a committee will assist him. We'll provide him with the technical resources. We have the Office of the Auditor General here, the EACC, the National Treasury, and the Control of Budget. We'll assist him in digesting this information so that we can take a view on the propriety of this particular procurement. I know that it is impossible for us to go through appendix by appendix in this meeting, and that is why we are professionals and experts and institutions being part of this meeting today. Let me hear from Senator.
Chair, on the non-responsive on annexes that are zoned, I wanted to know what will be the fate of this this one that was just a moment. The one on just a moment on Appendix 1 on PPRA. This submission of quarterly, it cannot be read.
For engineering or TSSL?
This one on TSSL. Yeah, TSSL. So I was Appendix 1. I was wondering whether the governor would want to proceed with something that cannot be read, or he can withdraw this document and provide alongside other
Which one is that?
documents. I don't know, maybe, Chair, you have better eyes.
Submission on quarterly reports on all contract award. Governor, we direct that you provide a legible copy of that record, legible and certified, within the 4 days that we have directed that you provide the other records.
And then, Chair,
We are most obliged, Chair.
That is Appendix 1 and Appendix 1 and TSSL.
Most obliged.
Okay.
Chair, and then another issue, I think this response should not be admitted. He can withdraw and redo it, because apart from typing errors and quoting the wrong sections and also referring to different appendixes as per to the answer, I don't think, because you can use an example of followed by a negotiation that was held on 15 December 2022, that should have been Appendix 2 as opposed to Appendix 5. When you read, there was a typo error, and we know the cost of typo errors before. It says, and as allowed, not allowed, and allowed, a big noise. So that negates that statement totally. I don't think there is a lot of loud noises in Narok. So, and then this one on the blank documents refer to a different appendix in 19. That is that on Thursday, December. I know the other one had corrected. So, Chair, it would be in order for the governor to withdraw the entire of this response and get a new one, because it does not answer what we had raised, and it is good that the clerk has read out what we required from the county government and the county government of Narok. Out of curiosity, Governor, was it only one single earth-moving machine that was supposed to be purchased, or how many were they? Because I can see the professional opinion said that it should have been 1 point something of 1 billion. That was number, the professional opinion. You can remind me, I saw it's 1 point something billion. 1.6 billion shillings. Yeah. So were you purchasing, because I can see in your advert, in one of your annexes, you have not indicated the number of earth-moving machines. I think you just indicate, you say it's an open tender, but is it only one earth-moving, and it was 1.6 billion? And was it under the PMF Act the lowest? And and I've noticed, Governor, in most of your bids were withdrawn. A number of them, one is saying because of a sister company, another one is saying even in the professional opinion. So was this the lowest and most competitive as per the PMF Act of 1.6 billion? And where are those earth-moving machines now from 2022?
Thank you, Chair. Even though the Senator has asked so many questions, but on the issue of withdrawal, so that we can correct the answers, that so yeah, Chair, I said the Honourable Senator for Nandi, he has asked so many questions in one, but for the withdrawal of the answers, so that we can correct the the section of the Public Procurement and Asset Disposal Act 2015, that we can do, because it's just a matter of it's a typo error, which we regret. We can correct that. On the issue of how many machines, of course, it's not one machine that costs 1.6 billion. It's a matter. There are two tenders. One was for the repair of old machines, and also buying of new machines. So it's in the tender document, and you can go through it. It's a number of machines, and actually they are on our yard. So
Chair, through the chair, can I get which county secretary? Where was the annex on professional opinion, so for that I'm on the same
for
page?
For the farm engineering file.
For TSSL.
TSSL.
Which is number?
Number 9?
It is appendix number 9.
So that when Governor is answering, I'm on the same page through the chair. So it is number 9. This way, I wanted the professional opinion. This one is not, is it the professional opinion? No, this one is not professional opinion on TSSL. Yeah, this is number 9.
Yes, you're referring to the TSSL file.
It's number 9.
Number 9.
Where is the pricing that has been quoted? Oh, yeah. So this one, the Governor, is only for the repairs?
Correct.
The 122.
122. It's for the repair.
1,000 or million?
122 million.
122, 698, 536.
But we have not written million. You have written 122,698,536 and 32 cents.
Yeah. Okay, Senator, just there's mathematics for lawyers and mathematics for accountants. Point to the 122 million.
So, okay. Chair, what I'm trying to say, and the other one you are just in conclusion, is that somebody who prepared these documents did not want us to get the correct answers. Because it is starting from simple typo errors to non-responsiveness and provision of documentation to lack of prescription. Who is David Montet? Who is David Montet through the chair?
I'm the one chairman.
Why would you sign a document that does not give the true account of what is happening? Chair, because that document, the description of the amount does not tally with what is secret.
I think if the governor has chosen to provide records that will implicate him,
Okay.
let him be implicated.
Okay.
It is not our business to guide him
Okay.
on the right documents to bring,
Okay.
because we shall subject these documents to a very powerful lens. Because, you know, even that professional opinion you have cited, the on page 1 on basic information, the date the tender quotations were invited is 10th of November 2023.
Yes.
And yet that memo has been signed in the year 2022.
24th November 2020.
Yeah, so it is not our duty to tell the governor to go back and amend these records. We shall process the records as they are. So on your first request that the governor withdraws, I think let us deal with whatever has been presented before us, and let us take a decision on the basis of what the governor has presented.
Chair, for me, I want some clarity on a few issues. Governor, you will present to us the original budget for this financial year. I wanted to understand, was this equipment originally budgeted in the original budget before you did the supplementary? Is there a quick yes or no?
No, they were not. Remember, we came in and we wanted to do the supplementary budget so that we go as per the needs of the county government at that time.
So initially it was not budgeted?
No, it was not. Remember,
What was the total budget for financial year 2022-2023?
Remember, let's check.
These are figures you should have.
14.5 billion.
So you introduce an item that is almost 10% in a supplementary budget, 10% of the entire budget. That is what you did. Because the item here is 1.4, but we will look at that. The documentation you've provided, does it include ownership documents of these companies?
Yes.
Which annexures are those?
We have the annexure for the company? No. Ownership is not indicated, no.
Okay, but I can see they were part of the tender evaluation, and they are public documents that we can always get. We can get. There is an allegation, Governor, you just give me an answer. Do you know the owners of these two companies? Are they persons known to you?
No, they're not.
They are not known to you?
No, not at all.
Okay.
These are companies that you get when people apply.
Okay. So, but when you see the ownership details, those people are not known to you at all?
Not at all.
Okay. The machines were delivered in full?
Absolutely.
You have the ownership documents registered in the name of the county?
I do.
Are they part of this?
Did we include it? It was not requested, Senator. Okay. Otherwise, we have the logbooks.
Oh, that's very good. Where are the machines right now? What is their current state?
They are all in the county government garage in Narok. The Honorable
Does the county do maintenance of the machines itself, or is it contracted out to someone?
We have contracted somebody to do for that, for us.
How much do you spend a month on those equipment?
It depends on the usage. No, Chair,
Average?
yeah. You know, it
On
depends
average?
on the... On average, I have to look at that, because it was not part of the question, so I need to look at that.
Okay, so who does the management?
It's a company called Grade A. Grade A.
Called what?
It's called Grade A company.
A.
Yes, okay. That does the maintenance.
Thank you, Chair.
Senator Mtata.
Your Excellency, I would like to pick up from Senator Sifuna's submissions. My question is, are you familiar with the law governing supplementary budgeting? Does it impose any limitations on you?
It does.
Did you comply with the law?
Yes, we did.
Because if the law allows you to adjust up to 10% of a vote, an item, and from what Senator Sifuna said, these machines were about 10% of the entire budget. Do you see any illegality in that?
You know, we splitted the budget for 2 years, so we did comply with the law.
Which item in the budget were you adjusting that you came to 10% of what you are purchasing?
Senator, that was not part of the question that I was asked. Otherwise, I would have prepared myself accordingly on the question that you're asking. Because I need to go to the numbers. And the numbers.
But you have the experts with you.
Governor,
I do, but they need.
your team is here.
Governor, please process your response through the chair. I do not want direct engagement with my members.
Let me give my county secretary to.
Honorable Chair, I will attempt to answer.
Point of order, Chair. What is the qualification background of the county secretary? Through the chair.
Honorable Chair, I am a lawyer by profession. Honorable Chair, to respond to the Honorable Senator Omtata's question. First, the amount was not paid within one financial year. It was paid in a period that transcends into the next financial year.
Was a budget adjusted within one financial year? I think that's a question of the threshold of 10%, yes. Leave alone how you paid out.
We did a supplementary budget to accommodate a substantial amount of the cost of the machines.
Of how much? Because you have your supplementary budget here.
I can ask the CC to check.
You know, Chair, there's something the governor has said there. And I want you to be very careful, Governor. It is better for you to wait for documentation than to speak under oath and say something that might not be accurate. You have said in the original budget there was no provision for these machines.
Honorable Senator, there was a provision for purchase of machines, but not to the tune of the substantial amount that.
That's the reason, Chair. I am telling the governor, the team is here. Let them help you, because I am aware that there was an amount in the original budget for this work. It was adjusted to 1.4 billion, and that is a conversation we want to have with you, with Senator Omtata. Are you aware of the limitations of how much you can make adjustments in a supplementary budget to a vote?
Yes, Honorable Senator, and that was why I was going to my second point, which is if you also study the budget of Narok County for that financial year, you'll realize that there was an increment of about a similar amount of 1.3 billion in our own source revenue, which most of it is what we had to rebudget to go to that cost.
Could you just take us to the supplementary budget for one of the contracts, one of the tenders? I know we are directed that you need to provide the original budget. Just refer us to the appendix that had the supplementary budget. That is, so we say for farm engineering, that would be appendix. On farm engineering, Narok County Supplementary Budget 1. Now, when you do your supplementary budget, isn't there a column on original estimate? So where's the column on original estimate here?
Chairman, this is just an extract of the department concerned. But as you require, we can be able to provide the whole budget, the whole original budget.
Did you truncate the supplementary budget? Because how would you process a supplementary budget without reference to the original budget? And PBO, when you're doing a supplementary, don't you have a column on the original estimate and then the revised estimate?
Chair, supplementary budget arose because of need for unforeseen expenditure. So when you have a supplementary budget, you need now to have a column for the printed estimate, the original budget, and a column for supplementary budget, so that we see now what is the change, so that it should not be more than 10% of change in votes and in the entire budget, what was approved originally by the County Assembly, and the additional expenditure. So we need to have the two columns for comparison purpose, which should not be not more than 10% in terms of votes and in terms of the original budget.
So CC Finance in Appendix 25, could you just demonstrate that to us? I'm seeing the first column and Appendix 25 on farm engineering. We're just taking that as a sample. Because we have said we'll need to see the original budget. But nonetheless, in a supplementary budget, there needs to be a column on the original estimates. CC?
Yes, Chairman.
Can you explain to us this, whatever you've attached here?
Chairman, it's there, the first column.
So the first column is the original estimate?
Yes, that was the original estimate.
42 million?
No, not 42 million, Chairman. Yes, 42 million.
So 1.4 billion is a revised estimate?
Yes, Chairman.
To what extent does it comply with the query raised by Senator Omtata on the limitations on supplementary estimates?
Chairman, as you see, this was actually this was a proposed budget then. By the time we are making this advert for the earth-moving machines, and
the question is threshold.
Yes.
10%. I think it has been cited by Senator Sifuna and Senator Omtata. Just address yourself to that.
Chair, the Public Finance Management Act, it is section 154. 2C. 152 brackets 2 brackets C.
150.
154, section 154 for the Public Finance Management Act. The total of all reallocations made to or from a program or subvote does not exceed 10% of the total expenditure approved for the program or subvote for that year. It's very clear in the law.
Addition was exceeded.
So, Governor, your statement on compliance with Section 154 of the PFM Act?
Honorable Senator, the issue of the additional revenue.
Remember, there's program, vote, or subvote. I think that's the wording of the law. I know you want to make an argument for global increment, but it's very specific.
And chair, extra level revenue is not a slush fund.
Yeah,
it must be appropriated.
Honorable Chair, what I want to advise the County Secretary, you know, you are our colleague in the profession, at least me and Senator Fonanti. If something is wrong, it is wrong. Even if by some miracle oil was discovered in Narok and it began to be produced immediately and you ran into 10 billion shillings in 1 month, you cannot, in a supplementary budget, exceed the threshold in set there. So that line of argument you want to take is a dangerous line of argument. Whether there was an increase in on-source, that is not the point. On a vote, in fact, if it was 42 million and you move it to 1.4 billion, that's 10% of the entire budget of Narok. 10% of the entire budget. That is not acceptable. So from the beginning, you can see this is an illegality, Governor. That's what we are saying. The tender was an illegality from the beginning. And as a council, you know, I don't want my chair to start saying you will be recommended to the Law Society of Kenya. Yes. Don't go in that direction at all. Just accept there's a problem, there's a problem.
And that's the reason why we insisted on seeing the original budget. Here we are making the assumption that the first column is the column on original budget. But you see, it gives rise to a lot of other things that is not restricted to the purchase of earth-moving equipment. It gives rise to questions around budget execution and the lawfulness of the budgeting process in Narok County. Let's get back to Senator Mtata so that he finalizes his point.
The second thing is that the same thing of, because this particular facility in law is highly abused. Other than the limitation on amount that can be spent, there's also the justification. There must be an emergency.
With the original budget, so that we tied with a supplementary budget. Because I think there is something that is missing here, and we need to ask you for time to come up with the original, and then we tied with the supplementary. That's the only time we can do the calculation and see the 10% that we are talking about. Number two, to answer the senator, what was the reason of buying these machines? Let me inform the senators that we have a natural resource called Masai Mara, where we have to make sure that the road infrastructure for the tourists are passable. And when we came in, and when I came in as a governor, we really needed to repair the moving machines that were there, but it was not enough. So there was a need for us to have those machines because we have airstrips that the aeroplanes or cannot land if they are not well done. That's number one. And Mara is big, such that we needed those machines. The other issue is that 70% of Narok is agricultural. So the few machines that we have that were repairable was not enough. And there was an emergency that we needed to do roads for our county so that people can, transport their farm produce from the farm to the market. Remember, Narok, we are producing a large amount of, wheat, potatoes, maize, and without that, it's a standstill. And I can even tell you, without the produce from Narok, probably this country would have suffered a lot. And there was a need. And that is why we ended up, we needed new machines, which really help us. Had it not this rain, the El Nino rain, most of the roads of Narok would have made it because of the new machine. And I also want to make this request, that we invite the committee to also come to Narok and see that these machines are there. There are 98 in number. So it's not just one machine, as the Senator for Nandi was alluding to, that there's a big, it's a set of machines, such that we have bought 6 pairs per constituencies, and I have 6 constituencies. And these would have really helped my county, both to take care of the Masai Mara National Reserve and also to take care of the other parts of Narok that are more agricultural. So this one, without it, you cannot do anything in Narok. So that was the urgency, Honorable Senator. So I request that my submission is that if I can get time to get the original budget and then I tie with a supplementary budget, then I think we can be able to make headways on that. Thank you.
Senator Sifuna?
Yeah, another thing, Governor, I want you to do for me. First of all, there is this Annexure 13, which is a tender evaluation report.
That's for which?
For the farmers.
For farm
on farm machine.
Yes.
Number?
It's Annexure 13.
13.
Yes. So on page 5 of that annexure, there is members of staff who are appointed to facilitate the evaluation process. I don't know if you are on that page.
Under the paragraph evaluation of the bids?
Yes, evaluation of a bid. Governor, can you confirm that those officers are still in your county government?
Annex 13.
Is Ken Saitoti Seno still there? Yes. Lanoi Committee?
Yes. Lanoi Committee is still there.
Jen Lasoi?
Jen Lasoi, Senior Supply Manager, yes.
Yes, Berry Lakinyi?
Akinyi, yes, Akinyi.
And John Laon?
Yes, he was seconded to our county, so he had moved to Chief.
On Beryl Akinyi, she's a mechanical engineer, works with the national government, and we asked.
Very well. Is John Laon still around, Governor? They can be reached, all these people.
Yes.
Now, if you go to the evaluation criteria at 4.0, you will see at number 5, these people were supposed to look at the certified copies of the CR12 details. That is the ownership of these companies, Governor. Now, I want to ask you, are you aware of any relationship between these two companies?
No.
You are not aware? No. So you ask that team if they looked at the CR12s of those two companies, because I happen to have copies of those two CR12s, and you will see, Governor, that the ownership is the same.
Name the companies, please.
There are two companies, Chair. It is TSSL that got the part of a tender, and this farm engineering that got part of a tender. Chair, if you examine those documents, the ownership documents of those two companies, there is a gentleman by the name, and you will see it because there are records of your own procurement. There's a gentleman called Panvir Kaur Burji, who is a director in both of those companies. And the allegation, Governor, is that he has a relationship with the other directors of farm engineering, and you will see there is very many Burjis in that farm engineering CR12. There is a gentleman called Swanjit Singh Burji, Panvir Kaur Burji, and Guprit Kaur Burji. So, Governor, sit with your evaluation team.
But, Senator, those are two different companies. So when you say they are related, as far as we are concerned, they are not.
Order, Governor. Let's allow the senator to finish, Governor, before you respond.
My name is Edwin Sifuna. If I am a director in TSSL and I am also a director in farm engineering, that is a relationship between those two companies. Would you agree or not?
Honorable Senator, agreed. If you are a director in one company and a director in another company.
Is your mic on?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, just raise your voice a bit.
But these two tenders were not related in any way. They're totally different procurement items.
We will come to that.
I think you have missed the point. When related parties place a bid for the same tender, what happens?
Because, Chair, where I was going, let me just finish. Because if you go to page 3 of that tender evaluation report, there is a list of all the people who bid for this work. You have seen the list of 14 companies. Governor, are we on the same page? Are you there? Yes, it is. Under 2.0. You can see there are 14 companies, Governor. It cannot be coincidence that the two companies that won this tender, out of those 14 companies, have similar directors. How is that possible?
Honorable Senator, if you notice, in the bid for supply of the machines, TSSL actually withdrew from the process, and their tender was never evaluated.
What do you mean? They never got the work?
The work was awarded to farm engineering.
TSSL never got a tender. Why are these files here? What are these, Wakili?
There are different tenders.
There are two tenders. TSSL won the tender for repair of machines.
That's what I'm asking. Is it a coincidence that these two companies, which have the same directors, are the only ones winning tenders in Narok?
We will want to submit, Senator, that this was pure coincidence, and it was an open tender. We
It's
never
coincidence.
had control. We never had control of who will apply for the tender.
You're saying it's coincidence? Okay.
I think there must be a way of professionally establishing whether there's a relationship between the bidders. And we will at some point ask the Auditor General, because you had agreed that there's some further analysis that the Auditor General must carry out, because where there's a relationship between bidders, that points to collusion in the procurement exercise, and the procurement law has clear provisions on how that is dealt with. And we must then establish whether that was dealt with in accordance with the procurement laws. Because I'm looking at the evaluation minutes that Senator Sifuna has referred to, I do not see anywhere where the assertions of the county secretary are captured that one party withdrew. We know that there are two tenders, there are two separate tenders. The concern or the contention is when related parties bid for the same, and then you proceed to evaluate and then award to a party that had placed two bids, and trying to game the system. So that requires to be looked into, and I think a cursory look at the papers before us is not going to provide light. Prima facie, there seems to be a problem. Senator Mtata.
I think it points to tender rigging, whereby parties can compromise a tender by colluding. And so it's not an innocent concern that Senator Sifuna is raising. And I would recommend that the further interrogation of the issue be done by the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission. And then as I wind up, I just remind to go back to the last issue. I wanted to call the chair to notice that in its remarks, His Excellency doubted the accuracy of the supplementary budget, and in effect, especially this owned exhibit 25. So among the documents which we may require him to supply is a correction of the error that he noticed on this document in terms of the figures invoked. That's all, Chair.
Thank you. Senator Cherargei?
Maybe the Governor did not answer my question on regulation for, and this, I don't know why CCM Finance is not talking unless there was an exception. Because I asked a question under Regulation 48 of the Public Finance and Management Act. The regulation requires that you must be prompted, especially on budget variation. And we have seen that it is beyond 10% that is provided. So was there any communication, official correspondence through CCM Finance on this aspect? Number two, I can see there is, just to follow up on Senator Sifuna, in Annex 18, there is Nakil Pandya, who has written to withdraw from the tender, withdraw from tender for proposed supply and delivery of earth moving. He says, it is hereby. So there could be an unholy alliance or incest within Nairobi, within Narok County government. From above, this has been asserted by our sister company, showing interest in participating in the tender. So it looks like there is an unholy incest within Narok, extrapolating from what Senator Sifuna said. Because if sisters and brothers are applying and deciding, since you are the one, you go ahead. So I think I agree with Senator Okiya Mtata that EACC should take up this matter and follow up who these sisters and brothers are in Narok. They decide that let us apply. When they see somebody, they write a withdrawal letter to close out other tenders. So I think I just wanted to tie up what Senator Sifuna in Annex number 18 on farm machinery. And it is the same fellas by the name Nakil Pandya, director. So, Chair, I think what we just need to request and recommend is that EACC takes up this matter because this incest is not what the Public Finance Management Act envisaged, or even under the Constitution on appropriation of the budget. So on my question on Regulation 48, then it can be answered. But
you know, Chair, what Senator Cherargei has brought out is exactly what I was trying to demonstrate.
Correct.
That it cannot be coincidence
yes.
that two companies bid, One withdraws from one tender,
And he says,
the other
"My
gets,
sister."
and then the other tender now is awarded to the person who withdrew from the other tender. It cannot be coincidence, Governor.
And they have said on record, our sister company.
Okay, the records are before us. It is for us now to scrutinize and take a decision. Senator Dulo, so that I know the Speaker has convened another meeting.
My request for approval by Assembly has not been addressed.
Most obliged to provide that.
Sorry?
Together with the other documents.
You don't have it,
What the
because
count-
that would have been very important.
Yeah, what the county secretary is saying is that both for the supplementary and the main budget, normally it has to go through the county assembly. So we do have it. It was it was not
Yeah,
one.
that should have been one of the documents you have attached here, so that you have followed the due process.
CC Finance, Senator Cherargei has asked a question whether you were aware of these adjustments. The response needs to come from you.
Chairman, I was informed by the relevant department on this adjustment in writing, and as the governor said, we'll be able now to provide in the budget that was approved by the county assembly, which now replaces the draft that we had given.
Okay, so we. Okay,
Just
finally,
on a
Senator
quick
Cherargei.
one. Under PMF Act, there are responsibilities of accounting officer. The variation has been indicated by Senator Okiya Omtata. It was beyond 10%, and we have seen it in the supplementary budget. The PMF Act gives you responsibilities as an accounting officer. If you had been informed and you had noticed that variation was not within the law, did you write an objection letter stalling that illegal process? Or you just say, since the governor and everybody has agreed, I just sign?
Senator, that's why we are saying that we have asked the chairman through the chair that we withdrew these supplementary and so that we can bring the original and the supplementary to tie how much have we
But Governor, through the chair, it remains the same. There was violation of the law.
Governor, we have not granted leave to withdraw this supplementary. What we are asking for is further information, because this supplementary clearly indicates a vote was varied from 40 million to 1 billion. So we do not want that evidence to leave the Senate.
Yes.
What we are asking for is further information that will prove compliance with Section 154 of the PFM Act. And even when you're doing your budget, when you're doing your supplementary budget, when you're doing your financial statements, there is always a statement on compliance with various provisions of the law. So we will not want a redacted supplementary budget. We don't want a one-pager that is redacted. We will insist on the entire supplementary budget and the original budget so that we are able to see those movements. And then we'll also require a narration from you on how you complied with the PFM Act, particularly on that particular line item on purchase of equipment. Senator Cherargei, let's wind it down.
You know, Governor, there is individual responsibility, and I would really want your CCM to answer, because the PMF Act assigns responsibilities. The fact remains that there were violation of the law contrary to regulations on PMF Act of variation, has been asked by my colleagues. The CCM Finance, when you noticed this, did you raise an objection? Did you want to stall? Because you cannot be a conveyor belt. The PMF Act or even procurement laws or for Public Finance Management Act, even Chapter 12, or is it 13 on public finance on the Constitution, you have an obligation as somebody assigned responsibility. Did you become a conveyor belt or you express reservation without going beyond? Because we have noticed there is a supplementary budget. Did you do anything?
Chairman, yes, we did. On the approved budget, on the approved supplementary, rather, we had that in place. We divided this item into two, which went to 2022-2023, another one went to 2023-2024.
But it was within the 10% variation?
Yes, it was within the allowed variation.
And in that letter through the chair, in that letter you expressed those directions?
Yes, I did.
Chair, can you provide so that we look at the approved budget vis-a-vis the supplementary budget?
Yeah, I think let's then give directions as follows. The Senator for Narok requested for information regarding these tenders. It has taken time to be brought before the Senate. Today, we have taken an inventory of the information that was requested, and we have taken note that there are about 4 or 5 records that must be provided to the Senate within the next 4 days, and the timeline of 4 days is as per the request of the governor. In addition to the missing documents, which were the termination reports, the blank tender documents, and the pre-bid minutes, as has already been captured, we have cited issues around the supplementary budgets and the lawfulness of the adjustments in supplementary budget for purchase of equipment. And we are directing that within those 4 days, you provide a copy of the original estimates, provide a copy of the supplementary budget, you highlight the statement of management responsibility on compliance with the law, especially Section 154 of the PFM that limits the variance on votes and sub-votes to 10%. Secondly, we have asked about possible collusion in the procurement exercise. Now, many a times we ask the client to provide the CR12 records, but I believe the CR12 clerks, sometimes it's better for us to get it directly from the registry, because then we are sure that we are getting a copy that is not adulterated. And I think in the past, that is the approach that we have taken. So we'll be requesting for the CR12 for the 2 companies, TSSL and Farm Engineering. We will also be looking at the procurement process to see whether the 2 related companies were evaluated, and if that was the case, what that means for the procurement laws and regulations. We have also, thirdly, I think a member has asked about the ownership of the machines. Governor, you have said you've got the ownership documents. Please just provide a copy of the ownership instruments of those equipment. Because most of these documents, senators are seeing them for the first time today, and that's why we are taking an inventory to confirm completeness. We have already had a conversation with the Office of the Auditor General, and we have asked the Auditor General to do a preliminary review on the lawfulness and prudence of this particular procurement. I know my colleagues have asked, we direct this to the EACC. Now, sometimes if you direct matters to the EACC without digesting it, EACC becomes purgatory, where things die, and things neither go to heaven nor hell. So, Auditor General, we had agreed that within 30 days, you are providing a professional opinion to this committee on the lawfulness, on the prudence, and value for money of this particular procurement. The Secretariat of the Senate, we have also agreed that we will go through these records. You have taken note of our concerns, and you will do a paper to guide the committee on the prudence and lawfulness and value for money on this. The Senator for Narok requested for this information. This information is now before the Senate. We will be transmitting this to the Senator for Narok. In case he has further supplementary questions, we will review them. And if those supplementary questions can be dealt with by the Public Accounts Committee, we shall then schedule further conversation. And if they need to be dealt with by the Roads Committee or the Finance Committee on budgetary aspects, that decision will be made. That therefore means that we will need some time to get the report of the Auditor General, to get the report of our internal report, and to get the feedback of the Senator for Narok. But I think for purposes of today's meeting, it was to get the response of the Governor and to get hold of the records that had been requested for, which I'm glad to note there's been a high level of compliance. But sometimes you might provide 80%, and yet the 20% that is missing is where the problem lies. I think with those directives, and Governor, you had asked for 4 days. It was you are asking. So are we dealing with 4 days?
Chair, through you, I wondered if it is possible that the clerk write for us all those that you have read that you needed, so that at least we go one by one. It's now becoming it's about 7 or 8 issues that you needed us to clarify.
So will you respond within 4 days of receipt of the clerk's letter? He had requested for 4 days.
I think we need more than that, because again, it's now more than what we suggested earlier. So 7 days is okay with us, 7 working days.
So clerk, we will communicate to the county executive the information that is required, and then make sure that we make it clear that they respond within 7 days of receipt of our letter. Senator Onyonka, please go on record.
Chair, maybe in the next sitting we should have Senator for Narok. This is his statement. There are some of the things that we don't know.
I had other commitments and other committees. Governor, I welcome you, and I'm happy to see you because I've worked with you before. Thank you, sir. Thank you. I had to walk up the stairs so I'm sweating. My mind is not settled.
Unless there is any other business, the meeting is adjourned.